This is Viterbi Voices.
Coming to you from the University of Southern California, Viterbi School of Engineering.
We're here to give you the inside scoop about research, classes, student life, and so much more.
All of these shared from our students, faculty, and other members of our USC community.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Viterbi Voices. As usual, I am one of your co-hosts. My name is Paul Ledesma, Executive Director of Undergraduate Admission here at the USC Viterbi School of Engineering.
And hi, everyone. My name is Emily Paus, and I'm a senior studying biomedical engineering.
And returning to the podcast is one of our favorites. Introduce yourself, Derek.
Hey everyone, my name is Derek. I'm a senior studying industrial and systems engineering, and it's great to be back.
And where are you from, Derek? You want to tell everybody?
I'm from Los Gatos, California.
Los Gatos, California. All right. Now, something I think we should pause and reflect on right now is it's December. It is the ho holidays. I don't know. I don't know what I was about to say, but it's the holiday season. Are you all ready for the holidays? Are you ready for your break?
Excited.
I should
Very
say.
excited for the break. Yep.
Very excited to just stop going to school for a little while. Well, cool. Well, happy December. And what is this episode that you brought to us today, Derek? Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so a while back we had a live chat about LGBTQ plus students in engineering. So it was great chatting about, some potentially personal topics to a lot of people. It was definitely a bit of a smaller live chat as live chats go, but that just meant we definitely were able to answer every question we got, literally. That's never happened to me before. And so, yeah, it was just great to be able to supply that kind of information to everyone.
This is a very, very important conversation, and I'm glad that we're bringing it up to the podcast. If you all haven't checked out the YouTube video recording of this, it's a fantastic conversation, and I hope you're going to enjoy it because there are so many students out there that I think would benefit from understanding more about the LGBTQ plus community at USC, specifically in the Viterbi School of Engineering. I know there's a lot of students out there, regardless of where they are in the world, maybe don't exactly know how they feel about the topic or how what's going on in their world, but it's important to understand what's happening at our community and also let them know that this is a very welcoming space where people have all sorts of different backgrounds and all work together to solve problems and honestly make friends and build a community. And I think that's the best part about this conversation is that people don't need to feel alone. I think is one of the biggest topics here. So Derek, thank you so much for hosting this chat, and I want to just get out of the way and stop talking too much here. Let's just get out of the way and get straight into the conversation, Derek. So let's hand it over to you in this recording of the LGBTQ plus student-led live chat.
Hello and welcome, everyone. You're currently entering the LGBTQ plus students in engineering live chat. We'll be starting the session soon, so stick around for a second as we wait for everyone to join in. How's everyone's weekend going?
It's been pretty good. It's been relaxing without the game this weekend. I was sad it got canceled, but I've had so much more free time.
Yeah, I was spending on doing stuff with all my free time, but I ended up just resting, which is probably good too.
Yeah, no, exact same for me. Yeah, I was so excited to just sit around and then I did that. So
I was like, oh, I'm gonna get stuff done this weekend, and then I did it.
Yeah, I ended up still going to San Francisco, so I just got back today, so pretty tired.
I didn't realize you still went. That's so fun. What did you guys just end up exploring the city or did?
Yeah, because I stayed with a friend in San Francisco, so we didn't go to Berkeley and we decided to just kind of sightsee. It's my second time in SF, so we just kind of went to walked around, had a good time.
Went to Alcatraz.
Some people did do that. I had some friends that went on the tour, but
oh man. Okay, well, anyway, I think we're about at capacity for everyone that's going to join in. So welcome again, everyone. Let's get this started. So first things first, we want to welcome each and every one of you again to the LGBTQ plus students in engineering live chat, brought to you by us, real life engineering students who were in your shoes not too long ago. Before we move on, I want to sincerely thank the panelists for not only taking the time out of their Sundays to join us, but also for being willing to talk about an important and potentially personal topic with us today. So, and another thing, if you're wondering why a couple of our panelists are outside, there's been a massive Spectrum outage around LA. So a lot of people are just hanging out on USC campus for their Wi-Fi. So please excuse that. But anyway, shown here is our agenda for the next hour. We'll be kicking off by introducing our panelists for the evening, all of whom are current engineering students. Then we'll be answering questions that you all submit on the webinar Q&A feature below, though I'll ask that you hold off on submitting your questions until we get to that Q&A portion. It's probably obvious given the title, but today we'll be talking about our experiences being LGBTQ plus engineering students. Feel free to ask questions related to those experiences in Viterbi, or even just general USC questions, anything you feel like is fair game. If you're viewing this live chat from YouTube or viewing the live chat recording in some way at a later date, don't worry, you can still email us questions at vstudent@usc.edu. We may not get to emailed questions during this session, but one of us will follow up with a response later on. And so once again, hold off on submitting questions through the Q&A for just a second while we introduce ourselves. As a reminder, we're just students, so we're here to share the student perspective of Viterbi, and we can't answer the majority of strictly admission-related questions. Please direct those to our admission staff at viterbi.admission@usc.edu. At the end of the session, we'll spend a few minutes going over how to get in touch with the Viterbi admission office, how to stay in touch with us, as well as sharing some resources that may be useful as you navigate your application process. And so now, without further ado, let's introduce ourselves. I'll start first. So my name is Derek. Hi, my pronouns are he, him, and I'm a senior studying industrial and systems engineering from Los Gatos, California.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gus. My pronouns are he, him. I am a senior here at USC studying chemical engineering with a biochemistry concentration. I am originally from Florianopolis, Brazil, and on campus, I am involved in a range of things going from engineering organizations to cultural organizations. I'm also a resident assistant and a supplemental instruction leader for Calc 3.
Hi, everyone. I'm Chris. My pronouns are he, him. I'm currently a senior studying civil engineering with an emphasis in building science, and I'm from Woodland Hills, California. And some of my involvements are being part of the Construction Management Association of America Design Build team, as well as the vice president of the Earthquake Engineering Research Institute.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kate, and my pronouns are she, her. I am a sophomore, and my major is astronautical engineering with a double major in English literature. I'm originally from New Hope, Pennsylvania, and on campus, I'm really involved in the Society of Women Engineers. I do undergraduate research, and I'm part of Quest, Queers in Science, Engineering, and Technology, the Thematic Option Honors General Education Program, and Rocket Propulsion Lab.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elissa. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a senior, class of 2022. I study computer science, and my involvements at USC are Theta Tau. Theta Tau is a co-ed engineering society, and also Hackasy, which is USC's largest hackathon. I was organizer for Hackasy, leading the sponsorship team, as well as vice president for a hackathon. I am currently a course producer for undergraduate's computer science course. So course producer is kind of like a TA position.
Awesome. And finally, these are our moderators who will be behind the scenes today responding to some of the Q&A questions that might not get answered live by our panelists. Let's meet them.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jordan. I'm a junior studying biomedical engineering, and I'm from Huntington Beach, California. Oh, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm so sorry.
No worries. Hi, everyone. My name is Paul. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a senior studying computer engineering and computer science from El Paso, Texas.
All right. Thanks, guys. So now it's time to submit your questions. If you're on the webinar, we encourage you to submit questions now through the Q&A feature below, as I've said. And if you're viewing this from YouTube, you can once again email your questions to vstudent@usc.edu. We want you all to know that a few years ago, we were in this same position as you, like I said before. And And so we're excited to hear what you're wondering about and answer anything you might be asking. Well, I can kick it off with just kind of a more general question. What kinds of support exists for queer students at Viterbi and at USC in general?
I can talk about this a little bit. So I'm part of an organization called Quest, which is which was just asked about in the Q&A as well. So it's queers in engineering, science, and technology, and this is a mostly Viterbi focused organization. Although anyone is eligible to join, even if you're not a STEM major or specifically engineering, they welcome everyone. And it is essentially a STEM focused, career oriented group. We do conferences. We just had our parent organization, Out in STEM, OSTEM, hosts a annual conference, and we just had it, and it's a really great place to get internships. And the club in general is a really great place for just community support. We have community events and also bonding events. We do a lot of social events and a lot of professional events. So that's a really good resource for queer Viterbi students.
Awesome. Yeah, I actually went to that OSTEM conference. It was really great. We got another question in the chat. Would you say there's a decent amount of trans or NB folks in engineering?
I think that it's kind of say specifically in engineering. I think that more so if you look at the whole USC picture, I think that it's especially considering we are in LA and California, I think it's a very opening and welcoming environment for folks that identify as trans or non-binary. So I'm not really sure what the representation or the demographics for that what that looks like, but I would say that in USC in general, it's a good representation.
Okay. Oh, I was just going to say, just add on to what Gus said, and this kind of goes into the support question as well, is that there are a lot of organizations on campus, but I feel even for people that don't necessarily aren't a part of them, I feel because the campus is so diverse, you can easily find support systems with just the USC community and with a lot of your peers.
Yeah, absolutely. And then before we kind of go into some of the more general questions that might come up, I wanted to ask you guys, did you have any worries or concerns before you came to college about kind of just your identity and fitting in, or anything else, any other concerns you might have had?
I think that for me, so I was really involved in LGBT organizations in high school. So I founded a gay straight alliance at my Catholic high school, and at the time that was a really big thing. So coming in, I feel I felt pretty confident because of the things that I had already done in high school. So it wasn't really something that I thought of so much, to be honest. But I think that coming in, I realized coming from Florida to then being at USC and just California in general, that's a lot more liberal in that sense and a lot more welcoming. I felt really comfortable and with all of my identities as soon as I got here, and it was cool because I still got to explore them in a bunch of different things that I did and still do on campus. So for example, my first semester freshman year, I joined QASA, which is pretty similar to Quest, but it stands for Queer and Ally Student Assembly, I'm pretty sure. So it's more general, so not specific to STEM students, but just all students at USC. And through QASA, I had a sense of continuity of the work that I did in high school in terms of advocacy for LGBT students. And I was actually able to work on a really cool project. My first semester at USC had just gotten here, and I was able to work on my own, develop the whole project to get gender inclusive housing for all the upperclassmen apartments at USC. So I think that I came in not really thinking about that part of my identity too much, but was able to develop that a lot more than I thought I would in college. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I can speak to this as well. I wasn't even out in high school. So as in my experience, I wasn't exactly like worried about it. I wasn't really thinking about it that much. I don't think I was like fully realized like about my identity, but being able to be here in such a welcoming environment, like Gus was saying, I was able to like grow into myself and like discover my own identity. So I think that it's like it's a really good place and like a good environment to be in if you're like questioning yourself or like unsure about who you are, because everyone that I've met here has been like so welcoming and like so kind, and all the organizations have been so supportive.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo that real quick too. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't out in high school either. And like some of the first people I ever came out to were like my roommates freshman year. So definitely a big place. Yeah. Like 2 a.m. they were like, what? But yeah, cool. So Harrison is wondering if there's a physical Pride Center presence on campus.
I know there's in the student union, there's like a queer like study space, an area that has like offices. I think there's like a counselor there, and there's just like it's just like basically a study room that's like a safe space for students.
Cool.
Sorry, kind of should just develop more what she said. Like, so here at USC, like in our student union, there are a bunch of like centers for different like minority groups. So there's a Latin one, there's a Asian one, there's one for Black students, there's one for LGBT students, which is pretty cool. So I think it's called the Lavender Room, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you can like go there literally just to like meet new people, study if you need like a quiet space. We also get free printing there, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth exploring that if you get the chance.
Awesome. Harrison's also asking, do hate preachers come to campus often? Not to my knowledge. Have you guys ever heard of anything like that? No, I mean, we're in the middle of LA, so like, you know, it's like kind of a pretty liberal, like good area. So yeah, awesome. What else? I don't know. Do you guys have any advice, like based on what you've experienced kind of in this transition going from like high school to college? You know, like we talked before about how like you might not know yourself right now, or you might be like just wondering about what's going to happen when you get here. I don't know. Do you guys have anything to speak on that?
Yeah, I can. I think going to college is just a really big change. I'm coming from across the country, so USC was a really great place to like end up and land, and there's a lot of really great communities. And I'd say like one thing specifically about Viterbi that I really loved is I want to say it's like a very competitive against your peers. Like you're getting a really great education, but it's a really supportive environment to kind of, as you're figuring things out and you're far away from home and a lot of changes going on, it's a really great place to be and learn.
Also to like chime in a little bit, I think that like speaking more specifically about the LGBT experience of like coming to college, I think that really like take advantage of that. Cause I mean, I guess like for me, I was like privileged enough that I was able to come out while I was still in high school. But if for like a lot of people where you're like get to college and you're like unsure, or if it's like something that you've never even like thought of before, or something that you had thought of before, but like didn't really like have the opportunity to experience that in high school or like back at home, it's like a really amazing opportunity to like come to a new place where like no one really like knows you from before, and you can really like start from scratch if that's what you want to do. So if you want to like explore around and see if like what it is that you actually like and what it is about this identity that you want to externalize or that you might not want to externalize, and like all experiences are valid in like their own way. So I think that that's like a good, like a big perk of college is that like you're going to be surrounded by so many different people that like have so many different backgrounds, and you can kind of like experience a little bit of everything to see what it is that you like resonate with.
Yeah, definitely going off what Gus said, I feel like it's good to take advantage of how diverse the campus is and all the different, there's a lot of people that you can discuss. For example, like I've had friends that I've had discussions with about sexuality, and a lot of people I feel like come from backgrounds where they aren't as educated on sexuality, on expressing yourself. And I feel like there's a lot of people that do have their firsthand opinion about it, and it's a great way to just talk to people and learn more.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a really great opportunity coming to college. Like you can totally just like shed whatever image you've had or you've presented of yourself like in high school. It's just like it's a new place to just like start wearing different clothes, start just expressing yourself so much more than you have before. And yeah, it's really great. So Connor is asking how being queer and inside Greek life has treated us. I think me and Chris can answer that question. So I think I would say that the specific house that we're a part of is like a very opening and inclusive house in general, especially as Greek life tends to go, like in general. And so I wouldn't say I've ever faced any strong adversity due to that. But what about you, Chris?
I would also agree with you. I would say that that was probably one of the communities I was the most nervous to come out to, because obviously, like, knowing just like what you think of Greek life, it is a very predominantly straight environment. And I was nervous about it, but I ended up actually finding a great support system in it. And I feel like a lot of our peers in it that I've discussed with have been actually wanting to understand like basically my own opinion, understand my sexuality, and have been asking me a lot of questions. And I feel like it's never been they've never like tried to like pretend I wasn't. They've always been like actually like actively involved in like asking me questions and trying to like educate themselves and learn more, which I really appreciated. And I've always felt very comfortable. So I feel the same way.
We're culturing them.
Exactly.
Okay, Miley, I think that's how you say it, is asking, is there gender inclusive housing, bathroom situation, easy access to gender neutral bathrooms? I'm sure Gus, you can speak on that.
Yeah, the RA in me is about to come out. So here at USC, we have this thing, I don't actually know what they're called, but basically they're like cultural floors in a way. So like, once you're like admitted and you're applying for housing at USC, there will be like a bunch of different options in case you're interested. So for example, like there's like a Latinx floor, there's a floor for Black students, there's one specifically for like certain majors, and there's one for LGBT students. So if you're interested in that, then it's like a specific either like floor or wing, depending on the dorm.
I think it's a rainbow floor, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Our freshman year, I think it used to be in this dorm called Century, which is like right across the USC Village. So if you're interested in that, that's one thing that you can go for. But also, like I said, for example, the dorm that I live in, they have like, I have like residents who identify as non-binary, and then they are just like included in rooms with people that of the gender that they feel like more comfortable with. So I guess like that would be your call. And then like I also said earlier, my freshman year worked on a project that approved gender inclusive housing for all the apartments at USC. So also that would be something that you're interested in, that you want to live in an apartment with people from like different genders, and that is something that would make you feel like more comfortable in your transition to college and like living with different people, then that's also something that you can apply for as well. So I think that a lot of different options, and really like in my opinion, it seems like USC has been like progressing in a positive direction in that sense. And then in terms like what they asked, bathroom situation, is there easy access to gender neutral bathrooms? I don't know if they're asking like just on campus in general, or like for dorms. So there are specific dorms where like you have like communal bathrooms, and they're like divided by gender. So again, like if that is something that you feel like might impose some sort of like insecurity in you, then like definitely you can work with housing in that sense to be like placed in a dorm that would be a better fit for you. But gender neutral bathrooms, I think that like I've seen also like a transition in a positive direction ever since I got here to USC, where there are a lot more gender inclusive bathrooms on campus. It was like there was like a big thing surrounding that our freshman year. So USC has been like trying to incorporate more gender inclusive bathrooms around campus. I can think of like a few like in specific, like very specific like staple buildings at USC. So yeah.
No, I would agree with that. That was a very thorough answer. So thank you. Lutisha is wondering, what if you're still closeted? What will be the best option for you in terms of opening up? So as far as that, like, like I said before, I wasn't out, and I wasn't even like fully even confident in my gay identity until like a few months into freshman year, probably. And so, I mean, I can only speak on what I did. I don't know if there is necessarily like a best route. Like you kind of just have to do it in some ways, but at a certain point. But yeah, I started out with just my roommates who I ended up being pretty close with. And then from there, like, you know, I feel like the process of coming out, it's like, it's not just one coming out, like you have to come out like a bunch of times to a bunch of people. And each of those, like, depending on your relationship with those people, can be different. But it's definitely the kind of thing that it gets easier the more you do it, and the more confident you get in yourself. And yeah, and I would say like being around USC, like as long as you're around there, like it's pretty safe spaces in general to do that.
Yeah, I can talk about this also because I had like a similar experience. I wasn't really like sure of myself when I got here. I also, because I'm only a sophomore, started on Zoom school, so that I had a weird freshman year. But I moved out here second semester freshman year, and the first people that I like really came out to were my roommates. And I think that like the best thing for me was finding people that I was like comfortable with already as friends. Like I was living with them, and because we were in the middle of the pandemic, we weren't really like seeing anyone else besides each other. So it was really easy to become close with each other and become comfortable. And once you have like the support of like your friends, or maybe like a family member that you've come out to, like one person, it's a lot easier to like begin the process of coming out to other people. And like even like joining organizations, like I didn't join Quest until this year because I like wasn't really sure of myself last year. But it's like USC is a really good environment for like finding people who are easy to talk to and helpful in like opening up your like coming out experience.
Yeah, I think to offer a different experience, I actually came out in high school during 11th grade, but I was also very blessed because I lived in California, so I was in a very liberal, comfortable environment where I felt like I could do that. And I know that not everybody has that experience. And I feel like when it comes to coming out, it's important to do it when you feel most comfortable with it. Don't feel pressured to do it whenever just because other people are doing it or you're getting any kind of outside pressure. It's ultimately when you feel the most comfortable, but you can definitely find a community at USC over time that you definitely feel comfortable doing so.
Also, to like chime in real quick, I had like a similar experience to Chris. Like I came out in high school, and I think that like one thing to keep in mind is there's no one path to coming out. So like if you want to like make like, I don't know how to put it, like of course like at first you're gonna be like coming out to your friends and like having that like whole talk and stuff, but like after a while you can like make as much of a big deal of it as you want. And what I mean by that is that like one thing that I noticed that I did a lot when I first came out is that like whenever I would like meet someone new and like it would come down to me telling them that I was gay, I would like build this anticipation and get like really nervous, and like until I told them, like I'd just be like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen? And then like once you get to college, it literally just like comes up when it comes up if you want it to come up. So like it can be as much of your identity as you want it to, and if you don't want for it to be that big of a part of who you are, it doesn't have to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. Which I think is like something that I really love is that you can explore your different identities in different ways and just like decide what works best for you. So don't like feel too pressured to come out in a specific way or in a specific order. I have to tell my friends, and then I have to tell my family, and then like whatever else, like literally like whatever works best for you. And I think that college is a good time for figuring that out.
Totally. Sorry about that extra noise, guys. Also, just ignore it. Also, side note, this is a bit of a 180 because that was a pretty serious question, but Armand asked, do you like Charlie XCX? And I love her. I just bought concert tickets for her in April. So, woo. Great question. Okay, back to the somewhat relevant questions. Allison was asking, are there any Pride events that happen on campus that students can attend? Leisha also asked, what does Pride Month look like at USC? As far as Pride Month at USC, that's in June when the semester's over. So I've never been around for it. There's like LA Pride, of course. Like you can go to, I'm sure there's a lot happening in West Hollywood, which is about 20 minutes away. So yeah, that's fun. Are there any like specific other Pride events that happen like outside of June though?
Yeah, so there's actually a student-led drag show yesterday. I don't know if anyone went to that.
No way.
That's super cool.
What?
I didn't know about that.
I saw the advertisements. It looked really fun.
I would have gone. What?
Wait, y'all just, I feel like it was so late. Like I feel like all of my friends went. Yeah, so that happened yesterday. And I'm not sure, I think it was probably organized by PLASA, like the Queer and Ally Student Assembly, which is like an organization within student government. So they have like a pretty big presence on campus. So that's just like one thing that like comes to mind, but PLASA does like a lot of events like throughout the year. So that's like a big example. Like they had a student-led drama show yesterday, and like it was pretty crazy. Like my friends had to like get tickets for it. There were like VIP tickets going on too, but it was free for USC students, which is pretty cool. And they also had like guests, like guest stars come in too. So I think that like there were like a few like drag queens from like halls and stuff. So
wow, that's amazing. Where was that?
I'm not sure, but it was on campus. I didn't go, but all of my friends went.
Wow, that's so cool. I went to see Rocky Horror on campus once. It was fun.
Yeah, and another thing is, this was also a long time ago, so I don't remember it perfectly, but I'm pretty sure when I first started at USC, my freshman year, there was kind of like a smaller event that was for newly, like during welcome week for LGBTQ plus students, where it kind of outlined the different clubs or different where like the health center was, and just kind of give more information to if anybody needed to reach out or wanted to find opportunities on campus. So I do remember something like along the lines like that during welcome week.
Yeah, and specific organizations do stuff like Quest does. They had like for Halloween there was like a costume contest. Like a couple weekends, maybe like 2 months ago, there was like a day when everyone like went thrifting. Like we took public transportation together and everyone went thrifting together. So or like there was a beach day. So like there's always events going on, even if it's not like totally like USC led events. There's like specific organizations that have like bonding events and just like fun stuff to do with other queer people.
Amazing. Okay, yeah, and so Gus mentioned student government at one point. Harrison's asking, do we feel well represented at USC, either in housing policy or other USC bureaucracy? And like one thing off the top of my head, isn't the current USG president is gay, right? Nice. That's what I know, but anyone else? We've talked about the housing policy quite a bit, so but like, yeah, I think in general, I don't want to speak for you guys, but I think it's pretty solid representation usually. Okay, so Arman is asking now, he's interested in possibly being a part of Greek life, but I don't know how accepting they would be of different sexuality or gender. What experiences or advice do you have regarding this? So yeah, me and Chris talked about this a bit before. Like the house that we ended up joining, Fidel, I think is really great about this kind of stuff. And I've never really had any negative experience there at all. And I'm sure there are other houses where that may also apply. But obviously I'm not part of those, so I can't really say for sure. And so I guess in general, like my advice would just be to rush if it's something that interests you, and you can just feel it out from there, just talking to people there. And just see if it's something that you're still interested in.
I have a quick plug here too for check out the professional societies. We have Greek letters as well. A little bit different than Greek life, but a lot of similar things, like very social, professional. The co-ed experience is pretty fun. And very inclusive, like within, so I'm in Theta Tau, and within Theta Tau we have like a really great queer community within the bigger organization. So I definitely check those out as well. I'm trying to think. There's other groups like Trojan Knights, Helene. So there's other like societies on campus that aren't necessarily like the Greek life, like on Greek Row. So.
And also, if there's any like female identifying students who are interested in Greek life, I know I personally did not rush, but I have a lot of friends who rushed and some queer friends who rushed, who their sororities have been super accepting of them, and they have had like a really good experience with it, especially like in sorority life particularly. So yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely, especially echoing what Derek said, I think that it's best to just feel it out. And I feel like you could say that in general for all organizations at USC. You should really just like try out as many as you can and see where you feel like you'll find the best support system and you feel like you can be the most yourself, and you can join those and you'll definitely find a lot of those.
Absolutely. Okay, so that kind of, as far as the Q&A goes, we're kind of out of queer specific questions now. So finally, sorry, Liam, you asked this forever ago, but he's wondering, what is the school life balance like at USC? Are there resources provided to help maintain good mental health?
I think that like, again, like only speaking on like based on my experience, but the school life balance takes like a lot of effort from you to be able to like determine that balance. And I feel like I wasn't able to like figure that out until like later, like my sophomore year and things like that. And it's like really interesting to me like now as an RA, because I like RA for freshmen, and I see them like going through exactly what I went through when I got to college. And you know, you're just like ecstatic, there's like so many things going on all the time, and then you end up pulling like constant like all-nighters and things like that. So I think that like the work balance is something that you kind of have to like figure out on your own and what it is that works best for you. So for me, like I became like a big Google Calendar person. So that really allows myself to like schedule in like not only like the fixed things that I have to do every single day, like like class and things like that, but also like schedule in time to go to the gym, schedule in time to study, schedule in time to go out with friends and do things like that. So I think that as far as that goes, it's a process, because you're not going to be able to like stick to the same strategies that you had in high school, most likely. So it just like takes some time for you to like transition to college and figure out what it is that works for you, and what like new like study methods and like time management techniques you're going to have to apply to your life. But that is like something that applies like regardless of where it is that you go to school. But I think that USC and like LA in general is a really amazing place to be for a great like school life balance, because there's literally something for every kind of person like in LA and at USC. So if you are more of like a staying in type of person, and you just like to like go to museums and like go to the beach and like go to like concerts maybe, but then also if you are more of like a going out type of person, like you'll be able to like find people and find places to go and do cool things and explore the city. So I think that if that's like what you're looking for, you couldn't pick like a better school, honestly.
Yeah, I can speak on this also. I think I'm the youngest one here, so I'm still a sophomore. So, and this is my first time being like on campus. This semester is. So at least for me, I can definitely say that it's been a struggle so far. It's nice to hear there might be a light at the end of the tunnel, though, not gonna lie. Time management is hard, especially because I feel like when I first got here, everyone was like, oh, we missed our whole freshman year, we have to get in all of like the fun stuff that we missed, and I was like so overwhelmed. I ended up taking like fewer units this semester to try to like control my like time management. But I do think that like all of my professors have been pretty great about like being helpful with stuff like that. And I do specifically, I would want to say that I think for the Viterbi students in particular, the work-life balance is more difficult than a lot of other like general USC students. Most of my friends who are not in Viterbi have a lot less difficulty than my friends who are in Viterbi, just because like it's hard. and like school is just hard. And especially like certain majors, I think the more like technical engineering majors, like for example, I'm in astronautical. There's a lot more like technical classes, and I do think that sometimes Viterbi is like a lot to handle. But like resources wise, there's a lot of resources that they offer. I will say about USC mental health stuff, in my experience, they don't really do like long-term therapy if anybody would be interested in that. I'm from out of state, so like I had a therapist at home and I like can't see them anymore because like the insurance like doesn't let you see people out of state. I don't know, it's like a weird whatever, Pennsylvania. But so USC doesn't really offer like long-term therapy in that way. So if anybody is like looking for something like that, I would recommend like getting started with like finding someone as soon as you get here, because USC really only offers like drop-in hours for therapy or like sessions like every once in a while. They don't really do long-term at all. They like recommend you to other people. So that's definitely something that I would, if it's something you guys are interested in, I would recommend getting started on it early, because USC has good resources for like if you're having a crisis, but it's not as much like long-term care. So yeah, that's been my experience.
Yeah, I would definitely say that the transition is hard from high school to college because you had like a lot of structure in high school with your classes. And then once you get to college, you still obviously have classes at the same times, but you're going to have these like 4-hour blocks in some days and then different times in other days. And you're like, oh, what am I supposed to do at this time? So with that kind of time, you have to structure yourself. And through that, it's intimidating at first, but you learn a lot about managing your own time, especially with Viterbi, because I agree. I think our workload is it is pretty high because it is an engineering program, but it's definitely manageable as you learn to balance your time more. There's also a ton of resources on campus. There is a tutoring center where people can help you out with classes that you're struggling in. I also find a great support system in my class. I remember somebody mentioned before that they didn't feel like their classes were very competitive. And I would totally agree. I feel like I've never really felt like I was competing with my peers in my classes. It's always been like, oh, like let's work together and figure this out together so we can all do well in the class. And I've always felt like that. So I think that it might be difficult at first finding that work-life balance, but USC offers a lot of resources and you have support system in your classes. So it's definitely, you'll get to a point where you'll feel a lot more confident in getting through all of it.
I want to add as well, in those like your first few introductory courses, your core like math, physics, chem classes in your freshman, sophomore year, there's these supplemental instruction SI leaders, or Gus is passionate about it. They're really awesome. I think they're undergrads who lead them, and they're just super helpful. There's also CPs. I don't know, that might be more of a computer science maybe, but there's lots of really amazing resources to get help. There's always ways to get really useful help in academically, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest, like kind of basically combining what everyone said, I think like a big difference between like high school and college is like one of the big things you learn when you get here is like managing your time and like dealing with a lack of structure and everything. But it's definitely like very valuable skills to gain. And I think like now that I'm like a senior, I feel like I'm definitely leaving college with those. And so like, you know, it might be stressful at times. Obviously engineering isn't an easy major, but you know, you figure it out. Okay, so I think probably last question here. Oh, another one just came in, but Miley's asking, would double majoring be hard as a Viterbi student? I'm gonna at Kate on that.
Yeah, so I actually just recently added the double major. I was feeling a little lacking. I really like both STEM and like humanities, and so I was like, I really don't want to just be taking STEM classes, so I decided to do a double major in English. I do think it's like not super hard. It depends on what major you do. Like English only has, for example, like 10 extra classes basically that I have to take. So it's kind of like having like 2 minors or something. It doesn't feel like it's that much. I am probably going to stay for like an extra semester. But I think in general, Viterbi really encourages you to like do a minor or like maybe double major, mostly do a minor, I would say, in like other fields, because they're like all about like engineering plus the philosophy of like interdisciplinary. And I think it's definitely doable. it's really like you have to like want it though. I would say like if you're gonna commit the time to it, you have to like really want to do it.
Okay, so wait, there's one other quick question, like in the same vein that is also at you. Do you feel like you have other interests? Yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Astro is really cool. It's a really like cool community. There's only like 20 people, so we're pretty tight. But I do like spend time like doing on other interests. Like I'm in thematic option, which is like the honors GE program, and that's like all like reading and writing GEs, and I definitely think that's doable, especially in Viterbi in general. And I'm not as involved in like other clubs, I would say. Probably I'm mostly involved in like STEM clubs, besides, yeah, no, they're pretty much all STEM clubs. But I do have some friends who are in Greek life and who are in Astro, and they like are doing fine with it, and they've found it to be like a super supportive community. So like even though Astro is really a difficult major, I do think like there's time to do other stuff. Like, and I've really focused my time on like supporting the non-STEM side of myself here, and it's been like really good at USC. There's just a lot of opportunity for it at USC.
Yeah, I would say with when it comes to double majoring, I think that I'll just say personally, I've had some friends that have come in like double or triple majoring with engineering majors, like doing like astro with like computer science, and they usually end up dropping one because the Viterbi majors are a lot of units and it's really hard to merge two of them. So I would say it's not, if you're talking about double majoring with Viterbi majors, not super realistic for the sake of also just your sanity, but there's definitely, I would say that there's a lot of flexibility when talking to your advisors about taking other classes, because you will have some space in your schedule and you can be like, hey, I know that I'm astro, but I really wanted to learn more coding and I wanted to take some more computer science classes, and you can talk to them about finding some classes that you can take and why you won't be majoring in that, you can just get some experience with it also. So I feel like while it might be difficult to do multiple majors, and I know it's super exciting because like you want to do as much as you can in college, you definitely can like dip your toes in other fields while also just having like a main emphasis.
Also, it helps like if you guys have any like units transferred from high school, super helpful. That is like pretty much the reason I'm able to double major, because I have so many units transferred from high school. So if you guys are like considering not taking your AP exams, I would recommend doing it, or IB exams.
Yeah. One more thing I wanted to mention is, if you are really excited about trying out a bunch of things, you can take your freshman year to kind of figure out your Viterbi major. It's so easy to change your Viterbi major once you're into the school. So that's really amazing. Like I did my first year, I was chemical engineering, and I took an intro computer science course and I loved it. So I decided to switch to computer science, and I just like emailed my advisor and that was it. That was all I had to do. So that's a really great thing about Viterbi that not all engineering schools offer.
Okay. I was just going to add also there that if you're thinking about studying multiple things, another thing you can possibly do is what I did. You do the progressive degree program, where you start your master's degree towards the end of your undergrad degree, and you're taking undergrad and grad classes at the same time. And so like a lot of people can like do that program with very different areas of study within Viterbi. And so that's a really beneficial program as well that's available. But anyway, as we begin to wrap up, we got to ask the question, we got to ask why USC? So what is your next why USC?
I can start. I think that there's two reasons why I ultimately came to USC. One, a more practical reason, is that I was having some difficulty finding a very specific major that I was interested in, because I was originally thinking about doing architecture coming into college, but I've always been someone who's been more STEM focused in my classes with math and science. So I was trying to find a way to mix them, and I found the building science program at USC, which is where I mostly take civil classes that are structurally focused, but then I also do architecture studios as kind of like a minor or an emphasis. So I kind of get both that architecture and engineering. So it's a super cool, unique program. And when I found that, I was like, this is perfect for me. So that definitely was what kind of caught my eye initially. And then when it comes to USC in general, I would say that it's more of a feeling that I feel like every time I walk across campus, I'm like, I love this place. Like, I love this community. I've always felt super welcome and like I belong, and everyone is super social and excited to meet new people. And I've always just felt very happy. And I feel like that's really important when it comes to choosing a college. Is it's kind of like a gut feeling. As much as you can talk about the numbers and like the programs and all of that, I feel like it really comes down to the gut feeling. And if you feel like it's a sense of belonging in a community that you want to be a part of. And those are the main reasons why I chose USC.
I can go next. So for me, it was kind of like echoing what Chris said. So I got a scholarship here at USC. So my second semester senior year, USC like flew me out here to interview for the scholarship. So that whole weekend, like before that weekend, I was like, oh my God, like I got into USC. Like that's like really cool. But like, do I want to go to the other side of the country to go to school? That sounds kind of scary. I was like, okay, like they're flying me out. Like, let's see what this is about. And then like, as soon as I stepped on campus, I was like, this is it. Like, this is the school. And it was really like about that gut feeling that Chris was talking about. Like everyone just like seemed so happy to be here. I could literally like see myself going to school here. And then like I guess like a more like practical thing as to like why it made sense for me to go here was because I think like kind of echoing what like some of the things that were said here today is that like I am like a STEM person, obviously, but I also always have like have always been like really interested in the humanities and other things, and USC really gives a lot of emphasis to interdisciplinary learning. So every single semester here at USC, I've been able to take a really cool class that is not related to my major at all. So I've taken a comedy class, I've taken a dance class, I've taken a makeup class. I'm now taking 2 general education classes, like so they're like history classes. So even though, yeah, like I'm here for the chemical engineering degree, it's always been really cool to see how much I can learn in those other classes, because it's still like all about the mindset, right? Like you're still in those classes learning how to like think critically, and how that makes you a better engineer at the end of the day has been really awesome. So I've been able to find the best people at the best place, and I couldn't be happier with my decision. I can like confidently say that for being here for like 4 years now.
I can go next. I think I ultimately came to Viterbi because of like those really great opportunities, and now that I've been here, I've gotten to take a hold of a lot of these great opportunities, especially like professionally. I have had numerous internships. A lot of my friends, a lot of people here have had lots of really great internships. I'll be going full time into software engineering, so I really felt like going here, you could do whatever you wanted to do, like with this engineering degree. So it's been amazing. It's also just been like a really happy, fun place to go to school. Like, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful campus. I love skateboarding. I've learned how to skateboard. A lot of people learn how to skateboard their first semester on campus. It's very fun. And football, it's just a great place. It's a great place to be.
Yeah, I can go next. I chose USC for like a lot of similar reasons as you guys. Like Elissa was saying, I chose it because it's like a really like work hard, play hard environment, and I like wanted both aspects of that college experience. I didn't want to go to just like a party school or like just a super like STEM school. I wanted to go to something that had like whatever I could possibly want, and USC has that. I also had the feeling of like I had my scholarship interview here, and I was like, wow, this is the place. That too. But for me, the biggest thing that drew me was the interdisciplinary stuff that Gus was talking about. I sat down in my like info session for my interview day about Viterbi, and they were like, engineering plus, like you can do minors in other departments. And I was like, really? Because I love English and I really don't want to not do it anymore. And now I'm like double majoring in them, and it's honestly like thematic option has been like one of my favorite things that I've participated in at USC. Huge plug for it. Look it up because you have to join freshman year. You can't join after, so you don't miss the opportunity. It's a really great community, and it's a really great way to have like interdisciplinary general education, and that's what I loved the most when I visited and when I applied, was that USC doesn't really want you to just be like an engineering kid. They want you to be like a part of the school and like a part of like every aspect of the school.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. You kind of took away every unique thing I could think of. So I'll just say +1 to all that. The idea of Engineering Plus was definitely a big draw for me. I'm finally going to be able to take the film symposium class next semester. I'm so excited. And then what else? I don't know. The community is great. Being in LA is great. The work-life balance. I'm very satisfied with my experience here. And so, yeah, that was our final question. We hope you enjoyed the live chat tonight and gained some insight on what it's like to be an engineering student at USC. If you missed any of the chat, you can rewatch the whole thing on our YouTube channel at a later date. And I think it might also be posted as a podcast, but YouTube is a for sure bet. Admissions office stuff, we'd love for you to stay connected. And a way to connect with the Viterbi admission office is through an information session. This is a great opportunity for you to learn more about the application process in general. If you're interested, you can register at viterbiadmission.usc.edu/visit. This is a good time to take a picture of the screen also, so you can have this info later. So we'll wait a few seconds, get those screenshots. Cool. And then resources, we want to take a moment to shout out some amazing resources for students. There is the for USC Quest, the for the Center of Engineering Diversity at Viterbi, and for Quaza. So feel free to explore those as you please. And finally, stay connected with Viterbi students. We would love for you to follow us on our social media accounts. We have an Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok account, and we also have podcasts on SoundCloud and Spotify and Apple Music as well, and videos on YouTube. If you want to learn more about what life is like as an engineering student at USC, or you have more questions for us, once again, please email vstudent@usc.edu. Thank you for tuning in tonight. If your question wasn't answered, once again, send it to that email that I said. And good luck on your college applications. The scholarship deadline for applying is in the next couple weeks. It's December 1st. So definitely be sure to get it in before then. So thank you and fight on.
And we're back. So I was wondering, Derek, was there anything specific from the live chat that like surprised you or stuck with you?
I feel like a lot of the questions were pretty standard in terms of just like everyone's concerns coming into college and like being able to like show your identity. And all that was like, as expected and very like great questions that I was glad we were able to answer. But I would say the thing that stuck out with me most still to this day is one student asked me if he was like, do you like Charlie XCX? And I was like, yes, I had just bought tickets to her concert in April. So that was that was the standout question for me.
Definitely a very important question.
Yes,
we gotta handle that before we figure out whether we're gonna enjoy coming to USC or not.
Yeah, it was just nice. Yeah, all the other questions are just like very serious questions, so I was glad to have a little lighthearted moment.
Just mixing it up.
Yes,
yeah, that's awesome. That I think that what's good about that is that students, if you look at it from which is kind of a retrospective moment, that means that the students were comfortable just chatting with you, and I think that's when you know that the conversation worked. Right, you connected to students and they just wanted to chat with you. It didn't matter about all the other stuff that was really the topic was.
Totally. Yeah.
Derek, can you reflect on your time in high school and what it would have been like to listen to something like this when you were in high school, going into college?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, honestly, for like 90% of my high school experience, I didn't even realize I would end up in this community, so to speak. But, it's definitely like a really great way to quell a lot of very, very serious concerns that people have sometimes. And it's a scary enough time, like having to transition from high school to college, no matter who you are, but like having an identity falling in this community is just like a whole nother dimension to it. So I was glad to be able to do it.
That's awesome. Well, Derek, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. And I want to see what's going on with you. Do you have plans for the upcoming break? I know that we're about to jump into finals here, and I know that's probably where your mind is, but what's going to happen at this break?
Actually, my sister's getting married in a couple weeks here, so
Really?
That's my main plan. Yeah.
Cool.
Got all fitted for my tuxedo and everything. That'll be fun. And then just Christmas. My whole family will be home. I'm the youngest of 5 kids, so like we don't always get all together for Christmas, because now like people have, like, my family is now multiple families.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll all be together because of the wedding and everything. So that'll be fun.
Will that be up in the Bay Area?
It'll be
in
Austin, Texas.
Oh, in Austin. So you're going to Texas for the break, or is just for the wedding?
Both.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Emily, do you have plans? Do you know what you're doing for the holiday break, the winter break?
Yeah, I'm going back home to Colorado, spend some time with family, and then I might pick up some shifts at the ambulance company I work for in California too.
Oh wow! So you're just going to go back and forth, like you're going to be out here,
like in between. Like I think I'm going to stay in California a little bit, then go back to Colorado, ski, climb, spend time with family, then go back a little bit early and work a little bit more.
Awesome. Very cool. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. And for all of you listening, thank you for listening. If you ever have any questions about the podcast, please give us an email at vadmit@usc.edu. Or if you're listening onto a platform that allows you to rate us or comment, please do so as well. That always helps us out. Other than that, thanks so much. We'll see you all next time with another new episode.